thinking about retiring someday in your 401k retirement system alone, it's probably not going to work. Hang out with me today, I'll show you why. Today we're going to be talking about the 401k system, basically the failed retirement system we have going on right now in America. Let's start with giving an overview of what's going on. So, retiring in America has become more and more challenging every year. Why is that? Well, besides the rising cost of living, it's basically due to the fact that defined benefit pension plans have been replaced by defined contribution 401ks. That, and also that Social Security, is not robust enough of a system to pick up the slack. So let's take a detailed look now to examine how well 401k plans have worked out for American retirees. So, in my opinion, and based on historical evidence now, our 30-year experiment with 401ks, which are tax-favored investment accounts for retirement, they've amounted to a massive waste of taxpayer dollars. What I mean is that the system has worked out great for corporations and the 1%, but the rest of us who have to live off what the investments pay out through these systems have gotten screwed, right? Like 401ks were added to the tax system in 1978, and they basically cannibalized America's public-private framework of retirement security. Now, before medium and large firms offered 401ks, companies offered defined benefit plans, which were pensions. So basically, pensions are a form of private social security, where employers pooled their resources together, made contributions, handled the investments, and paid out benefits at retirement based on a legally binding formula, so you know what you got. It was those monthly benefits that were defined. Okay? In other words, the word defined means that you were paid a certain amount of money every month that you could rely on. Today, hardly any private employers offer a defined benefit pension plan. If a newly hired worker in America these days has a retirement plan at all, it's probably a 401k plan. And by the way, more than a third of workers in America have no plan at all. Let's listen now to Teresa Ghilarducci. And Teresa is a nationally recognized expert in retirement security and has been involved with 401k plans for many years now. We'll come back and talk about it.
And the panic now actually tops off chronic anxiety that we've been seeing for the last 10 years. And that anxiety is caused by the corrosive effects of 401k plans and other defined contribution plans. Despite a 30-year history with 401k plans and DC plans, we have seen that we have not expanded pension coverage. We have not increased the national savings rates. Though we have added to the profits of the financial sector and to the expansion of the financial sector, and we have extracted ever-increasing tax subsidies from the Treasury.
With respect to the 401k, it appears to be a plan that is not really well devised for the changes in the market. That we load an awful lot onto the back of the individual. We keep asking this person to get smarter and smarter about their saving, and that's sort of it, and they're on their own.
So now you should begin to understand why, as a standalone retirement product, 401ks are a joke. You know, traditional pension plans of the 50s and 60s and 70s, they forced workers to save because pension payments came out of a worker's paycheck, and they had no choice to stop contributing. So that pension system protected them against investment mistakes, market mistakes, and the possibility of outliving your savings. Not to mention predatory financial institutions that are always trying to rip you off, right? Again, like Social Security, a percent of your salary was taken away and invested for you by investment professionals. In a 401k system, it's the employees who are supposed to be the professionals. It makes totally no sense. In addition, 401ks don't force employees to invest. So guess what? Most employees don't put enough away or make serious investment mistakes, and they fall prey to huge fees that ruin long-term investment returns that retirees will need to live on. So now you know the reason why employers decades ago didn't hand retirement planning off to their employees. Let's watch a short video now and we'll come back and talk about it.
What do you dream of when you think about retirement? Will your 401k get you there? 401ks were designed to help wealthy corporate executives benefit from tax savings, never to be the primary retirement savings tool for working families. With the 401k, it's no longer about providing working men and women with a secure retirement, but instead letting corporations off the hook. Employers may not even contribute to their employees' retirement savings, leaving working people to shoulder the burden alone. Meanwhile, Wall Street profits from billions in fees that eat away at your nest egg. 401ks also leave individuals to face the market alone. If there's another recession, you could lose much of your 401k savings overnight. It's time for America to abandon its failed experiment with 401ks. Learn why pensions are the best way to provide the secure and dignified retirement that working people deserve. Go to protectpensions.org.
Okay, so you can see the problems with this system. Besides the predatory practices you just heard, you have to add in the fact that 401ks can be tapped into by workers before retirement. Now look, 401ks work great for two groups of people. The investment management team that sets up these 401k plans with the employers, and also the rich, the 1%. If you're affluent, 401ks are great. They're a great way to manage retirement investments. You can delay paying taxes and build up an estate. Let's look now at two examples of workers' lives. One has a pension, the other one has a 401k. The reference for these individuals I'll put in the description box. Now both Bridget and Henry have retirement coverage from their employer, but they have different types of coverage. Henry is a union member, which gives them access to a traditional pension. Bridget, on the other hand, isn't a union member and instead receives a defined contribution plan, a 401k, from her employer. Henry says, I feel confident about my retirement at this point. I know many of my colleagues don't have as much put away, those who aren't in unions or participating in a pension, end of quote. Once he retires, based on the number of years he's been on the job, Henry's pension entitles him to a monthly check for life. That's why it's called a defined benefit, because you know what you're going to get every month. Bridget, on the other hand, doesn't have a pension but a 401k. Her retirement fear is based through whether or not she can save enough, because there's no monthly check coming in every month, like in Henry's situation. First, Bridget has to figure out how much to save each month. Then she has to figure out what funds to invest in each month. And she says, and I quote, my biggest hurdle is debt. Right now I have a lot of competition for each dollar that I earn. Do I put it into savings for a house? Do I put it towards my student loans? Do I put it towards my retirement savings? Or do I put it towards eating, which is something that I also like to do, end of quote. Choosing to contribute to retirement is itself a problem, as you've just seen. Eh? With the 401k system, you have to make regular contributions all the time, regularly every month, if you want any chance at even a bare bones minimum retirement, or your retirement won't work. Now, corporate America, they were happy to get rid of pensions because they don't have to deal with the expense anymore of managing them or worrying about the risk and liability of investment losses. But history has shown that expecting workers or employees to make good investment decisions in a voluntary retirement system has become a recipe for failure. That was never the case with pensions, which promised defined benefits for the rest of a worker's life. So what's the takeaway? Look, these 401ks didn't pass the smell test for retiree financial security 30 years ago. It may sound good to control your own retirement, right? But in reality, it just creates employee misery and risk, which they don't need. You just can't expect employees in all age groups to learn investing in addition to doing their regular jobs. That's exactly what the 401k retirement system has forced workers to do. So basically, 401ks are driving more and more retirees to the brink of poverty and robbing them of their dignity in old age, and it has to stop. In my opinion, this is what we need to do. For starters, we've got to bring back personal economics as a required class in high school, college. Beyond that, we should all learn investment basics for ourselves and to teach our children. For example, in my opinion, every 18-year-old should know the basics of compound interest, investment risk, diversification, debt management, and fund expenses. We should also bring back civic education as a required class in college, because bringing about changes in America's retirement system is going to require political capital, which requires political knowledge and activism. We should try to strengthen the Social Security system by eliminating the cap on taxable income, which is now at $142,000. Also, we should support the labor union movement, which was decimated over the last 40 years, and which offered and helped set up pension plans with employers. This is how I'm preparing my son for his future retirement and to save in general. I'm putting money away for him in a Vanguard UTMA index fund. I'm teaching him what investing means and about the FIRE movement. That's a topic for a future show, by the way. FIRE means Financial Independence, Retire Early. And also, I'm going to ask him to live at home and go to school to save money. I'm also going to tell him that he needs to have 2 separate skills to never be unemployed. He has to be able to work with his hands and with your mind. And I'm going to suggest that he use free or cheap education resources on the internet, like LinkedIn and Udemy. And beyond that, I'm going to suggest he go get his associate degree for free. You can do that here in San Joaquin County because 2-year associate's degree are tuition free. And finally, I'm going to suggest that he get a local job under a labor union because it offers a pension. That's the show for today. Next week, I'll be talking about the importance of not selling your vote cheap. To asking your political representative, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. But ask for tangible economic benefits before they get your vote. Like strengthening Social Security so it'll be there for yourself, your children, and grandchildren, for $50 minimum wage, and for Medicare for all, so you can stop getting ripped off by the health insurance companies. So until next week, remember, you deserve the government you vote for.